Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Forbes staff writer, my colleague, Zach Everson. Zach, as we know, Donald Trump faces 37 federal felony counts for allegedly mishandling classified documents at Mar-A-Lago and then hiding them from the government. So can you, before we get started here, give us a sense of exactly where these documents were in Mar-A-Lago?
The one that sticks out in everybody's mind is the bathroom, since that's where the probably the most infamous photo was, but also in a storage space, in a ballroom, and in his office, according to the indictment.
So is it fair to say that these documents were hiding in plain sight? I mean, if you have not seen the photos, they are literally stacked in a shower. They're stacked next to a toilet. People were joking that this could be toilet reading. Like, they were right on a stage in a ballroom. So were they hiding in plain sight?
In a way, it depends who was in the rooms at those times. I mean, if they were stored there when the rooms were secured or there was nobody else on the premises, you would imagine nobody would be there to see it. But if there were people around, and Mar-A-Lago is a private club, it is pretty busy though, hosting events, and with just members being there during the season, that it's quite possible that they might have seen it.
Let's talk about just how busy Mar-A-Lago was. Back in September, you noted that Trump's attorney admitted on Fox News that Trump has guests frequently at Mar-A-Lago. So let's talk about some of the more high-profile guests that were there in the time that those documents were also on the premises. Let's start with some international figures, anyone of note.
There are three who really stand out there, one of them being Nigel Farage, the former European parliamentarian, better known as Mr. Brexit. There was also a member of South Korea's parliament there. And I really like the way he showed up. He was there to give Donald Trump an award, and that got him into the office. So and again, we're not saying anything nefarious happened. We're not saying these people knew that there was government secrets in there, and much less actually saw them. But it's if you wanted to gain access to a room where the former president of the United States was holding classified documents, give him an award. And then, anyways, the third person would be Eduardo Bolsonaro, who is a member of Brazil's Congress, and at the time was the son of the country's sitting president.
Let's move on to some U.S. lawmakers. He did have some notable Republican lawmakers in Mar-A-Lago at this time. Who were they?
Right. The one that stands out here is Lauren Boebert. And in these sightings, we mostly got through social media. People meet the president, they want to post a picture of it. And Lauren Boebert wore a dress with "Let's Go Brandon" scrawled across the back, in a kind of homage to AOC's Tax the Rich dress. And she posted that picture, and it went viral. So we saw that one. There were also Republicans, Jim Banks, Ted Budd, a few other Congress people as well, and some candidates for Congress who didn't win, but spokespeople, when we reached out asking, were you aware that there were classified documents there? Did you see anything? They did not respond.
So as of now, as we sit here, there is no indication that either these international figures or these U.S. lawmakers had any access to these classified documents or had any conversations with the former president about these sensitive materials.
Right. Only one person got back to me, and they said the only thing that they were really presented there was a Diet Coke, and that would be Todd Starnes, who's a right-wing media personality. So we don't have any, none of these names showed up in the indictment, and that's really all that we know for sure about who had access to classified documents. It's possible that some of these may come up in later court filings or in a trial as well.
You mentioned Todd Starnes, which brings me to my next category, high-profile Republicans as well as some celebrities. Who was there at Mar-A-Lago while these documents also were there?
Turning Point USA's boss, Charlie Kirk, James Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas, Stephen Miller, Kyle Rittenhouse, who's become a bit of a right-wing celebrity, and Ray J, famous for not having much discretion about what he shares with other people. So he was in there as well. We got a picture of him meeting Trump in the office.
Zach, as we know, in our many, many conversations, you track all of the investigations, criminal cases, and lawsuits that center the former president. And right now, the count is over 40. And for the past few months, you have been saying this is the most serious case. So, do you still stand by that?
Oh yeah, I mean he's only been indicted on two of them, and this being one. And I think this case is much more serious and um, more severe. I mean, the accusations are a lot stiffer than what he's being accused of in New York State, which is just misfiling business documents.
And how consequential are these charges when they're stacked up against the other indictment as well as the lawsuits and other investigations?
I mean, most of the other things don't have any possibility of jail time. This and the New York one are the only two that we have right now. Now, there are some other investigations going on, notably in Fulton County, Georgia, that might result in criminal charges. But this is far and away the most severe. If I were Donald Trump, and I'm not, nor is he asking for my opinion, but and had a limited pool of resources to spend on attorneys, I would put most of my attorney money on fighting this case.
Is that because the evidence here is a lot more perhaps airtight or ironclad compared to the other case?
It seems like there's less room for interpretation. The New York Attorney General's case relies on whether or not the accusations against Trump would rise to a felony based on them being involved in related to a federal election. And that there's no precedent on that, so we don't know. There's plenty of precedent on violations of the Espionage Act, which is obviously what he's being accused of here.
Zach Everson, as updates come through, which we both know there will be plenty, I hope you come on back. Zach Everson, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Brittany.